All right. Hey, it's Cade, and this is my PowerPoint on human environment relationships. All right, so this is the Native Americans. Um, so one of the ways that Native Americans affected the environment was through the forest burnings, which is they just, you know, set the forest on fire and let it burn to, clear out some area for them to expand or, start some new agricultural areas to grow their crops and things like that. And I could be wrong about this, but this longleaf pine barren area was maybe caused by this, or it would help at least helped it along. Um, that's on this map here. And then also their agriculture affected the soil. So when they would grow crops, it affected the soil, and then they'd have to move to new areas where the soil was good to use, so they were constantly moving around and things like that to for their agriculture to actually produce good crops and things like that. All right, so the settlers, they have a much bigger, they had a much bigger impact on the environment than Native Americans did. Um, it had caused a lot more problems, than what Native Americans didn't really cause a lot of problems, but the things that settlers did and beyond, have caused a lot of problems. Um, one of the things, is that they killed the Native Americans, through disease and war, um, stuff like that, which I mean doesn't affect the environment directly, but it inadvertently affects the environment, um, because they're, killing these people who live in the environment and, take care of it. So eventually that's leads to, problems with that. Um, and another thing is their domesticated animals, which, which continued, continued and continues to today, but it doesn't um, have as big of an impact now that it's been a long time since this has started. Their cows, eating the grasslands and things, so they're sort of messing up the environment in a way. Um, and the hogs, which is a thing that like widespread caused a lot of problems because they bred a lot, so they um, had a lot of kids and they kept breeding and growing um, until they were spread out. And you can see on this map, all this green is the wild swine population. So mainly in this southeastern part of the United States, where it was really started, is where they are a lot. Um, and so they're a pest. They um, invasive species. Bringing in things that don't belong, and they end up spreading and causing other major problems. All right, so now we're getting to logging. So logging causes a lot of, well, not changes, causes a lot of changes in the environment. Um, because they're cutting down trees, and when they used to do this, a lot of times it's to sell because of these, specifically these, the longleaf pines they talked about a lot in the reading, because of how sturdy they were and good for building, and so they cleared out a lot of the land. Um, and logging, it's just getting rid of trees and then these causing these barren areas of land, gets rid of habitats for animals. You know um, and it's just to, sell them or for some building something. And a lot of the times, the trees are even wasted. Like most of the tree is wasted. Um, as in the reading they talked about, I think it was the round saw. They called it uh, the sawdust machine or something, because it produced so much sawdust, and they said that the byproduct of using the circle saw was the um, plank, and the sawdust was the main uh, thing they were making out of the tree. So a lot of these trees just get wasted, left behind, um, and so they're basically just cutting down on these areas for no reason, you know. Um, and they have the sawmills that like mass produce, logs to be sold, and trim them and cut them and things like that. And it just creates, barren areas. Like here, you see this road, you can see that this all used to be a forested area by the sides, and they just carved it out, you know. And you have you can see all these logs that they've cut down in this picture on the right. Um, and that's about it. Thanks.